thank you for the introduction, Peggy. Again, my name is John Thygeson, and thanks for having me here. I'm here to talk to you about using augmented reality, or AR, in the e-learning environment. But first, I'll kind of step back and tell you a little bit about me, how I got here and came to be involved in this. I'm a senior analyst at Drexel, as was mentioned, and I'm working on my PhD in instructional technology at Lehigh University. And I was kind of driven to the instructional technology field by a couple of experiences I had where I work. I work in IT for the College of Medicine, and we, the physicians there at the College of Medicine, have a private practice group where they see patients. And we administer the databases and clinical applications that they use when they see their patients, where they chart the patient's information in the EMR, electronic medical record. And so we're also responsible for training the users there as well. So every year we have a couple hundred residents come through, and we have to train them how to use our clinical systems. So surprisingly, we have a higher failure rate with the residents when they come in and they take our training classes. And the surprising thing is that they've just completed medical school, so you'd think they'd figure out how to use a computer program. And the old way to do this was to sit them all in a classroom in front of a computer with a mock-up of our clinical application on it and teach them how to chart data in the patient's chart and so forth. And I think they got a little distracted because they thought it would be easy. They would text, they'd take phone calls in and out of the room. So we decided to try to figure out how to make it a better experience for them and for us, because that occupies a lot of our time. So we developed some videos on Camtasia with embedded quizzes that would report back the results to us. And we saw the failure rates drop, and we saw a better experience in talking to the trainees. We saw a better experience for them because they could take these at their leisure, and they weren't spending 5 days out of the clinics and in our classroom. So another experience, and those successes kind of led me to wondering what else is out there that can make learning better for people. What other technologies? And another experience for me, happened when I was a student. My first master's degree I got at Drexel, and it was an almost 100% online program. And man, was it boring. It was, I think the only, what you consider an instructional technology was the use of Blackboard. Because it was just emailing an assignment, doing reading, and writing up a summary, and it was pretty bad. So that also kind of made me wonder what else we could find out there, and that sort of led me to Lehigh, which is where I am now. So back to what we're here for, augmented reality in the e-learning environment. And augmented reality is the process of supplementing a real-world environment with additional data in the form of sound, photos, videos, and that provides the person experiencing it with an enhanced view of what's happening. And what I've learned so far from research and from experience in creating my own AR game is that augmented reality can engage students. It can increase scores. It can provide better enjoyment for the student. And the kids using the game-based learning program I developed, and I'll talk more about that later, enjoyed it more than the typical in-class instruction that they received. And that's really no surprise because kids love to get out and move. They learned better independently when they were using the AR app or the AR game I developed for them. And what I saw was kids don't like to be told how to do things. They like to figure stuff out on their own, especially when they're playing a game. They also, when they were out playing this game together, they worked in teams and they helped each other out. And if someone was having a difficult time, someone else would come over and they were excited to share that they knew something about it and could help a fellow student. And that leads to less teacher involvement. So you're not spending all your time teaching, you're letting them figure it out. For augmented reality, there's a lot of apps out there that you can use for this. And I'll talk about a couple of them here and introduce ways that they can be used for e-learning. And if I have time, I can show you a quick quest type game I set up for this area. So earlier in the week we saw what can be done with AR and VR if you know how to develop. But what if you don't have time? What if you don't have the money to do that? What if you don't have the skill set, or what if you just don't want to do that part? There's plenty of applications out there that have been developed already that you can use in your classroom that have low or no cost to the instructor or the student. And the first one I'll talk about is from a company called AR Learning, and they developed a series of marker cards called Learn AR, and they use the student's webcam to reveal 3D models when you hold up a marker card, which I have here. So you can download these cards once you pay for the licensing fee, and use them in front of your webcam. And I have a couple screenshots here. Here's one where you can see the student holding up a card in front of the webcam, and it produces a wind turbine, and you can see the speed, the wind speed, and the power generated by it. Here's another one with a lunar lander that shows the fuel consumption with your speed, and another one here that shows rates of photosynthesis and respiration based on the light intensity. So, and the company sells a 30-seat license for around $150. It's a British company, so it's actually 119 pounds. And a 50-seat license for 199 pounds, which I think is around $250. I'll actually show you a demo. Now, I didn't pay the $119 for the seat license. But you take the card, so you take the card and hold it up in front of the camera, and you can see a 3D model of the lungs, hearts, intestines, the what's inside your torso here. So pretty neat idea, and and I'll show you. Actually, they also have a video of this that details how they use it. So you can see the model I just showed you. And here's one, a beating, they show a beating heart with, which is interesting. And here's one of the mathematics cards.
Sorry, that was a wrong answer.
So and you can interact with it, figure out the area or volume in this case.
Correct.
And got the second one right. So here's one with cash for a cat, and as he puts it up against it, it will dress the character in the cat. Here's one with his shorts, so he's going to put the shorts on him. So I'll skip ahead to, and there's some for, and here she's learned using it for, here's an adjective, so she's going to hold up the adjective card, or charming is an adjective. So, and here is radioactive material, and you see the dial at the bottom. Another card will introduce the Geiger counter. And it's measuring that radioactivity. And then a third card will introduce a barrier. And I don't know what that barrier is, but presumably you would know. And then as you slide it in between, you can see how that affects the Geiger counter. So then here's one that helps with language.
Correct.
And you show the correct card.
Jacket.
So,
Blouson.
but you can see how they can interact, and it can help learning, especially when you're not in the same classroom with that teacher. So, and these are, they were developed with e-learning in mind, and as you can see from the content, probably for younger learners, because it's some basic content, but it's a good concept. And the next program I'll talk to you about is Erasmus. And Erasmus has been used more and more in business, more in marketing for companies. Companies that use it are HP, which makes sense because HP owns Erasmus, so it makes sense they would use it in their marketing. It's used by Lexus, Nabisco, for concerts and album promotions. This is one that for Bon Jovi, Black Sabbath, other bands. Magazines like GQ, Men's Health, Vanity Fair, and sports teams. The Detroit Red Wings and the Philadelphia Eagles. So, and Erasmus is fairly easy to use. And you can develop content on an Erasmus Studio website, or you can just develop simple content on your phone. And it's available in Apple and Android, and it's free for educational and personal use. They make their money when businesses use it to market, and they have a design team too that can help you design some stuff. And so what Erasmus does is you'll set up what's called an aura, which is a picture of something, or it can be a QR code. And that image is used as the trigger to play additional content behind it. And that would be the content that the users would see. And I'll actually set one up here just to show you how easy it is. Okay, so this is the home screen. You can discover a lot of different things. They have some neat, if you download this Erasmus app, if you, certain denominations of US currency has content in them. So if you point the viewfinder, and there's the viewfinder down at the bottom. If you point the viewfinder at the back of a $20 bill or $5 bill, excuse me, additional content, a little video play. It's pretty neat, a good demonstration of what it can do. So I will set up, oops, I'm going to set up a new, over here. Good. So here's one I set up, and I just, I took a picture of this and put some video content behind it. So now when I pointed at that, it shows a little video. So that's the sort of thing you can use Erasmus for. And as you can imagine, that could be used in an e-learning capacity. An instructor could set up a video or video content behind a picture in a textbook so that when the student gets to that part of the textbook, additional content or more focused content can appear for the student. Another way, some other ways Erasmus is being used. Actually, one of my kids used it in school. He was assigned a book report, so he had to do a poster for it. He took a picture of the book report, or the poster rather, and then took a video of himself presenting what the book was about and attached that. And so he took the device into school, and everyone got a kick out of it. And he did it all by himself too, which was impressive. And at the time he was in, I think, 3rd or 4th grade. So it's just that easy to do. Other ways, there's a university in England that's using it in nursing education. And they use an overlay of their patient mannequins to show them various clinical situations so that students become more comfortable in those situations, and it provides for better patient outcomes because they see it here first, especially with the more complicated situations. There's an elementary school in Texas. Sorry, this is a little blurry here. But what they've done is the school partnered with a local nature conservatory group, and the teachers and those volunteers put together over 500 pictures and videos. And they created a nature display, an 8-foot-long nature display in their school, and a school garden. And it has flora and fauna from all over Texas. So instead of going out for field trips, they bring that into their school because they face some issues where funding was cut, and I think that's happening all over, particularly, and field trip money is the first thing to go. So, so they were able to bring examples of all 10 ecological zones in Texas to their school, and their science and ecology classes learn from that. The next program I'll discuss is Erasmus. My involvement with, is ARIS. My involvement with this began when I was a student in the instructional technology program at Lehigh. And in one of my courses, our instructor came up with an opportunity to work with a psychologist and researcher who was developing a game in conjunction with the United Nations. The United Nations has a series of Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, excuse me, that are set up to create awareness and to educate people on issues facing the people of the U.S. and, or not just the U.S., people of the world and the environment. And there are 17 of them: sustainable cities, life on land, quality education, responsible consumption and production. And a couple of us were able to take the psychologist, who was Dr. Dana Clissonen, and we were able to take her ideas and develop, create the game and implement it. And the game was called Cyber Hero League, and we did it on the ARIS system. And so what we did is the game, as I mentioned, was through the UN's SDGs, and the players in the game would go on a quest, and based on clues and location-based items, they would pick up, they would learn, and they would collect badges along the way. And along the way, they'd learn little snippets of information. And the first one that they wanted to take on was the clean water and sanitation. So in the prior 4 years, Dr. Clissonen she'd already been working on this, but she just didn't have the technical know-how to do this. So she had developed, done a lot of character development, a lot of the media. There was a lot of artwork she created. So here's just a screenshot. She created heroes and spirits and defilers and badges. The heroes are the protagonists in the game. There's one of the heroes. And the heroes battle defilers, the people who would harm the people and the environment, and get help from spirits along the way. And there are also icons, and they would teach people about water pumps and water filters and the proper way to filter water, hopefully improving the health of people along the way. And at the end, badges were given out as you get to each step, and this provided those players with rewards to keep them motivated. And thankfully, she had done a lot of this artwork already, because we learned about it only about a month before the game was to be shown off at the Games for Change Tribeca Festival, Family Festival. And it's not like we could dedicate 8 hours a week on it. We had jobs at school and families, so it was a tough ask, but we did what we could. So we learned that she wanted this developed, Dr. Clissonen wanted this developed for kids in grades 3 through 8. The location would be around the Tribeca Festival, so they would be on a quest in the area of the festival. It would be developed on the ARIS system. The quests were real-world quests. Like I said, you would go out and find different landmarks in the area. There were digital artifacts, so you would collect these artifacts that would provide information about the SDG. It would also provide clues for you to lead you to another area. So if you found a water source, how do I get the water? Oh, I need a pump. So then you would try to find a pump. And then what if the water isn't clean water? Now I'm going to need a filter for that water. So it was a questing game that provided information. They would build resources, as I said, to accumulate those resources to work towards that goal, and they'd get a quest completion badge at the end. And she also wanted it to have global connectivity. So if I had 3 water pumps, I could trade them. I could trade one of the pumps to someone in Ireland who didn't have a pump. We knew some of these asks were within our reach, most of them, actually. We just couldn't get that global connectivity in time. That's, with the short turnaround, we knew we couldn't do that. So it was local game, quest-based. And we made good progress, and the night before the festival, we completed all the testing, so it was ready to go. So it was really that close to the end. You can see a lot of people lined up, different booths, and I should also say that this Aris does not work on Android at this point. It's in development, so it's only Apple right now. So if they had that device, they could go around and scout for it. We also had something to loan. So the response was great. That's when we saw kids working together. We saw kids who said they liked it better than learning in classroom. So getting kids out and about is really very helpful for their education. Let's see. So there's a group of folks that helped out on site. Someone even dressed up as that water spirit, which was pretty funny. And we had jerry cans here too. And we had one filled, one empty. And what we do is say, you know, in a lot of parts of the world, you can't go to your sink, turn on the water, get a glass of water that you can drink. So a lot of people have to walk miles to go get water and bring it back for their families for the day. So how would you feel as a 10-year-old kid if your mom told you to march a mile to the river where it's dirty with this can and carry it back? Feel how heavy this 5-gallon can is. So that was a real eye-opener for a lot of people. And I think that part was helpful again. So I have a demo that I created, as I mentioned. I have a demo for Aris that I put together. Let's see. And here is the web-based, and Aris development is done only on the web, not like Erasmus when you can set something up from your phone. Erasmus also has a web-based portal. But in Aris, development is fully on the web. So any web browser you can use this on, but to play games on it, it has to be Apple right now. They are developing Android, as I said. So here's a couple. Let me show you. You start by introducing a conversation to people to ask them if they want to play the game. So are you ready to get started? No? All right, it kicks you out. Yes. So it's basic branching logic. Do you want to learn about it? No, I just want to play. Go here, select there. Yes, I would. Let's go here. So that's the intro to the game that people will see. And then you come to this screen here, and you set up different plaques, so locations. I set up a real quick scout game based on the horseshoe curve. So there's a couple pictures in here and some information on it. So you set up the pictures and the content with the text in it. And that's your plaque. But then you also need a trigger for that. So you have a trigger here. And this is based on a map. So I put this right at the horseshoe curve, and I have this checked off as available anywhere because we're not at the horseshoe curve. So you would need, if I said available anywhere, I'll show you this. Available anywhere. Based on GPS, you can set up the range. So this would trigger when you got within that range. Other triggers, QR codes, You can upload a QR code, locks, and I'll show you that later, a timer. So once you get to that area, the clock starts ticking, and eventually after a couple minutes, it can show you the info. AR, which is if you focus on something, again, I showed you with the Erasmus app. Content will play that behind that. And they have beacon. So it's a little beacon. This is an interesting idea. It uses Bluetooth technology. So if you get within a certain range of it, it will trigger your content. And this can be used where I would imagine it would be used in an area where you needed very close content, because there's a setting for near, far, and immediate. So you would have to get, if I had this under here, you would have to get close enough to it for it to trigger, and then I could have one here. But if it were location-based, they would overlap. So this could be used in museums, art galleries, things like that. And I just got I'm running low on time, so let me just jump ahead to the game real quick. So, are you ready to get started? Yes, no. We're going to select yes. And before we begin, would you like to learn something about it? Yes, I'd like to learn a little more. And so, and you can customize this to anything you like. So, and it drops us right here on the map. But we need to be over here. And again, you would see this on the map if it were location based, but you wouldn't be able to activate it. But I set it up again, so I could just click on it. So horseshoe curve funicular, and there's our content, and you can see we just received a badge for that funicular, and it tells you a little bit about it. And so we're going to climb up to the top of the curve now. So we continue. And I had a lock set up so that you didn't see this additional content for the plaque until you completed this part of the quest. So now I'll select this. Great, now we have the badge. Now, you can learn, arguably it was made in 4 years, 12-hour days, 2375 feet of track. So now we're going to switch to the AR lens to see if we can locate the next step of the quest. And up here in the upper left, you'll see we have our AR selection. And again, I just used the cover of our program. So once it recognizes that, it shows us continue. I'll hit that, and it'll play a little video. It gave us the video plaque badge. So I'll just do continue, and hey, we completed the quest. So, and in a lot of this, how do you assess what kids have learned with this? So, what I did is I put a video. So then you can show a video with quizzes embedded in it, and you don't have to know how to use Camtasia or any of those programs like that. There are a bunch of free programs you can use that you can embed quizzes in. Edpuzzle, this is Play Pause It, and it will stop as you go through the video. You answer the question of the quiz. I got that one wrong, darn. And at the end, it will be able to report back to the teacher the questions you answered, the questions you got right, the questions you got wrong. So then the teacher can focus more on what they need to learn better.